We are here in Meghalaya, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the world's rainiest place. We're bordered by Bhutan and Bangladesh here in northeast India, and we are super excited to explore. We hope you'll come along with us. Let's go! So I wasn't able to get any footage on the way here of the drive, but I will get some on the way out. It's a beautiful drive. It's through the mountains, like winding mountain roads and tons of trees, beautiful water bodies, lakes and rivers with like just gorgeous water. Not much development on the way here until we got into Shillong, which is where we are now in Meghalaya. This place is totally different than anywhere in India that I've been so far. It looks different, the culture is different, the dress is different. The people even look different, and it's beautiful. But it rained all night, super strong rain and heavy, explosive, rolling, powerful thunder after just ridiculous lightning flashes. So it's so far living up to its name of world's rainiest place, and hopefully we can get out and explore. There's tons of outdoor activities to do here, so we're super excited. We can't wait, and I hope you can't wait either. So I was actually unable to get any footage on the way out of Meghalaya either. However, in our next video in the vlog series, I got a ton of footage from the surrounding areas. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can be aware when the next video comes out, and you can see what it looks like around Shillong. We just left from a terrible hotel experience to this. The hotel we left was a big chain. I'm going to leave the name out just for liability reasons, but it was terrible. It had bugs. It smelled. There was there was holes in the walls leading to outside. It was just the service was terrible and the food was horrible, and it was in the middle of nowhere. We booked it on a whim, actually very last minute, like on our way from Assam to Meghalaya, because the hotel that we had originally booked fell through. So we had to stay there, and we stayed for one night and then got a full refund for the next 3 days after a lot of prying from Anila with customer service over the phone, because we could not stay there for 4 days. And good thing we didn't. We ended up leaving and finding this awesome bed and breakfast. It was 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. There was a caretaker who lived on the premises. Him and his wife, they have a separate room behind a curtain and a locked door. And then they also use the kitchen, which is behind a curtain. They cook the breakfast. They clean the house when we are gone during the day. Of course, if we didn't want them to, they wouldn't, but they're very kind people. Super, super nice. And so we felt comfortable with them. They cleaned for us. They brought our bags in and out. They took care of us while we were there, and it was just a generally amazing Airbnb experience. The listing is below in the description in case you are ever in Shillong and want a good place to stay. There was an abundance of potted plants everywhere we went in Shillong, such as outside this restaurant that you can see us entering here. I attribute it to the fact that potted plants actually need a lot more water than in-ground plants in order to survive. And what better place to have a potted plant collection than in the rainiest place in the world, where it'll just dump water on your plants every day for you. But it really made the developed outdoor spaces a lot prettier than pretty much anywhere I've ever been in my life. On another note, the food at this restaurant ended up being completely phenomenal. This was not really a surprise to us, though, as high-end restaurants in India, pretty much to get to the high-end status, they have to have phenomenal food, or they will not survive with those prices, because even street food in India and pretty much every restaurant does have good food as well. Here are some scenes from driving around beautiful Shillong. But while these scenes are playing, I want to take the time to mention that later on when we get to South India, we're going to be doing food reviews. So on the topic of food, we're going to be going around to pretty much every restaurant we eat at, we're going to do a review of their food with me, who has a foreign perspective with some local experience, and Anila, who has the local experience with a good, decent amount of foreign perspective as well. So it should be interesting. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can catch that when we start doing those. Next up in this vlog episode, though, is something pretty special. We ended up going to the Don Bosco Museum, which is apparently the largest indigenous cultures museum in all of Asia. They don't allow video recording, but I didn't know that. I purchased a media pass, so I was able to take pictures, but I thought I could also take videos. I found out halfway through I wasn't supposed to be doing that, but we did get some footage that I'll roll here. We're here in the basement of the Don Bosco Museum, and we have 7 floors to explore, starting here in the basement. Now, I wouldn't usually feel comfortable rolling this footage considering they didn't want it taken. However, I'm pretty sure the reason for that is that they want people to still visit the museum. I encourage you, if you're ever in the area, to visit the museum. This video will only be a tease because I only got a few of the rooms before I found out I wasn't supposed to be recording. There's plenty not in this vlog that is in the museum, and it's definitely a destination that I recommend checking out. Even traveling to, because it basically shows from the beginning of humanity and a little before, all the way to the present day and all the stops along the way. Then it culminates in a skywalk, which gives you a 360-degree view of the city of Shillong. It could not be captured in a video. This is definitely a destination that I would recommend visiting, even traveling to, especially if you're interested in indigenous cultures, especially in the region of Northeast India. We learned a lot, and it was extremely interesting, and we carried that knowledge with us as we traveled along later, as to be seen in our next vlog, as we venture into the hills of Cherrapunji, the world's wettest city, also in Meghalaya, in Northeast India, and we end up going on a waterfall hunt, and we come up with some stellar waterfalls, so you're not going to want to miss that. For now, stick around for the rest of the footage that we did get from the Don Bosco Museum, including some mediocre shots from the skywalk up top. Here you can see some of the early pre-human species leading up to the modern day man and woman. This was very interesting, and we thoroughly enjoyed this part. It was cool seeing how they lived in their environments and how they went from basically naked to clothed and using tools. That was very interesting. There's the Neanderthals. And yes, we loved this part. This was really cool. I consider it extremely important to always learn about indigenous cultures, especially in the places where you are or want to be for a extended period of time. They basically fashioned the way of life in that region, and it's a little different with colonialism coming around and spreading their ways everywhere. But especially in places like Shillong, where the indigenous culture still pretty much reigns, it's good to know what you're dealing with. And in the case of Meghalaya as a state as a whole, apparently it is still very indigenous, even though they live in more modern dwellings. It's still very deeply connected to its roots. We learned this was truly the case when me and Anila decided we wanted to buy a property and open a bed and breakfast in Shillong and live there part-time because we love it so much. Well, too bad we're not actually allowed to do that because we are not Khasi. Khasi are one of the indigenous peoples from the region. They are local to the area of Shillong and Meghalaya, and they are still in the region today. Actually, as a matter of fact, only Khasi people are allowed to buy property in any of Meghalaya. So we're out of luck, but we'll still visit because it's a beautiful place and you should visit too. It's a lot of culture, it's eye-opening, and it is magnificently beautiful. Next up, we visited beautiful Ward's Lake, one of the many places in Meghalaya where they will actually dress you up in traditional Khasi dress for you to take pictures in. We even got swords, and me and Anila's dad had a little sword fight, and then Nesa took the sword and we had a sword fight. It was super fun. Something we noticed while going around was that even when it would rain, nothing stopped. Like everyone would just whip out their umbrellas and rain jackets and just keep going like nothing was happening. It's definitely not a gloomy type of rain. It's just something they're used to. It's just a part of life, and it was actually beautiful. Shillong, walking. We got some fruits. And I think now we're headed back to the Airbnb, right? Yep. And just gonna relax and take it easy for the day, and then we'll see what tomorrow brings. So about the cottage, it was actually not available on Airbnb for the dates we were looking for because we were looking for the 4 days we were going to be in Meghalaya. But after the first night at the hotel, we decided, well, when we got to the hotel, we decided to cancel it because it was terrible. So we looked at an Airbnb for the 3 days, excluding the first night, and this popped up because it was only available for those 3 days. So we got super lucky. But look, this is the other entrance.
Look at those rain clouds moving around. This is the view from our porch. It is so pretty.
I can't believe this is such a nice house.
It's freezing cold. Can only imagine how it is in the winter.
In our next video, we go on an epic waterfall hunt in the rainiest place in the world. So make sure you're subscribed and don't miss it.